So on the back of the vehicle, underneath, there's 8mm screws that I need to remove. Over here, all the way along the trim, and then on the underneath here, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 10mm screws I need to remove. Let's get to it. Okay, once the bottom trim is removed, there are 2 more 8mm screws that holds the side of the bumper, one on each side, that needs to be removed. Inside the wheel well on the bottom here, there's also another 8mm, one on each side. Next, all the way around inside the wheel well, you'll see these rivets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What you need to do is remove 1, 2, 3, basically right on top of the wheel, 3 on each side, altogether 6, in order to remove this trim and get the bumper off. Underneath there are some additional screws that we need to remove. What you need to do is drill through the centerpiece here with a 1/8 inch drill bit, and these will then pop off. Let's get to it. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult to get it off by hand. So I have this trim tool that I use. Oh, got stuck. There we go. One more to go. Once you have those rivets removed, next you're going to have to peel off this trim. So just, yes, you're going to have to really pull on it and get it to release from this part. And then there's some clips in here that will need to be released. So let me do that and show you guys in a bit. Okay guys, so I got it out, and as you can see, I ripped it a little bit on the back here. So basically how this works is that, how this clip works is that this piece goes into this hole right here, and this protrusion here, this wedge, clips in and prevent it from popping out. So when you install it, it should be extremely easy. You just push it right back in, like so. Unfortunately, it's a little bit damaged, but no harm, no foul. Okay, so once you remove 2 clips, 1, 2 on each side, you can gently pull it apart, and you can see there are 1 and 2 screws underneath the trim that holds the bumper side. So we'll get that removed, as well as on this side, 1 and 2 right there. Okay, next up is the taillight trim. I've already removed the driver's side, but I will show you what it looks like here on the passenger side. This piece, this is actually quite simple to remove. It would help if you have a trim tool like so. I'm going to try to do this one-handed. peel this, open up the side here slightly, and then just insert another piece and just slide it down. Like so. And here are the clips that goes into the holes on the side here. This step was actually pretty easy. Next up is to remove the tail lights. I've already removed the driver's side. It's actually quite simple. Two 10mm nuts, and then as you're pulling it back, straight back, you will expose the wiring harness, and the connector is just a push and pull. Let's do that on this side. To have an extension, so then you can do the rest of it by hand. Or if you have an electric drill, that works as well. So now just gently slide this back, and you'll see the connector right there. Okay, once the tail lights are off, there's one more 8mm under each of the tail lights right here. So we'll remove those. Okay, next is the reflector. There's a 8mm screw underneath the reflector. I've already taken off one, and I'll show you guys how to do the other. It's actually quite simple if you have the trim tool. So here's that screw. But let's grab these two trim tools, and what I'm gonna do is use one of the tools here to get underneath the crevice here, so that the side opens up slightly. I don't know if you can see it yet. Here it is. And then take the other trim tool and stick it in to the side. Oh, it's really hard to do this with one hand here. Okay. So once that's in, just gently push and slide. And should release the clip. There we go. Simple. After you've removed all of the screws and nuts, next is to peel off the bumper cover. So these were a little bit hard. I got it started. Basically, you have a plastic clip that goes around this piece that's on the chassis of the car itself. This is also plastic, and it catches in between. So it helps a lot if you have a trim tool that you can push onto this piece right here, this piece in here, as you're pushing down and you pull, and this clip on the bumper cover should release. As you can see, I pulled a little bit hard, and I got the plastic on the side here to give in a little bit. This is about to break, I think, so I need to be careful on the next ones. So once you carefully unclip the bumper, so over here, as you can see, these go into those grooves that's on the vehicle, into these pieces, but obviously on the other side. here, 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 and then up here, here, in between here and here. So start from one end, work your way to the other. Once the two ends are off, then you just gently move your way into the middle. And if you have a helper, that would have been nice, but I didn't have a helper, so I think I scratched up my bumper a little bit. And here it is, inside the bumper. You'll have some sensors, wiring. This is very dirty, so now I have to clean this up a little bit. Next, you want to remove the wiring harness and these two connectors off of this black support. This first connector is pretty simple. It's basically just press on this tab and slide. It's hard to do with one hand. Press on this tab, opens up, and then you slide this out like so. That's one. And then this connector, it seats on this. As you can see, this bracket, it has a little groove on the side. So basically, when it's on, you want to push onto the middle pin, and it'll slide off. And then you want to remove this. Next, you have a whole bunch of 10mm nuts. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Once you remove that, you have full access to the bumper beam. So you got 4 18mm nuts. 1, 2, 3, 4. However, these you'll need deep sockets. Let's get to it. For the 18mm nuts, it would be nice if you have a breaker bar. I don't. I just have a regular ratchet. But it's not very difficult to break, at least on my vehicle here, on my X3. So once you get it going, and then you can put it onto a drill and get it off real quick. Next, you gotta apply silicone sealant onto the hitch as per the instruction manual. What I did was I just bought this from Home Depot that I can just use for my kitchen, bath, and plumbing. Silicone sealant, $5. And put it onto the mounting bracket. Okay, once you put the hitch on, then you put the original bumper beam back over top of it, and then torque it to spec. According to the manual, the spec is, there it is, 86 foot-pound, 116 Newton meters. And then don't forget to connect your wiring harness, your sensor connectors, and that'll be it. Okay, after you torque this beam back down, next step is to reinstall this plastic piece. Pretty simple, just line up the holes here, and wherever else that you took off the nut for. And remember to reconnect these two connectors over here and attach it back here. So the next step is to hold the bumper cover in place, like so. Get someone to help you. Definitely that'll make it a lot easier. And don't forget to connect the sensor wiring harness. Once that's in place, then you can push the bumper into place. Take your time. Don't break any clips. Okay, one of the last steps is to put this bottom trim, the mud guard, back on. As you can see, the hitch is in the way, so we're gonna have to measure approximately in the middle, draw some lines, and then use a rotary tool to cut it. So that'll be yeah, we'll need a marker for that. So here's what I measured and marked with black on black. Unfortunately, I don't have a white, and I'm gonna cut it with this. So after cutting, this is what it looks like afterwards. And now I'm gonna climb underneath here and get it installed back on. So one of the last things you need to do is take your rivets. That's part of the packaging to replace what you've taken out previously around the wheel well. You need a rivet gun, which is not provided. You're gonna have to purchase that separately. Stick your rivet into the holes and squeeze. This particular rivet gun is not the best, so I'm gonna have to twist back and forth. Yep. And it broke off. And it looks like this. Rivets in place, and do the rest of them. And here's the final product. I have to get a cover for that 2-inch receiver. Thanks for watching.